Iraqi news highlights and points to ponder Sunday afternoon, May 12, 2024. Deputy, Iraq represents an important factor in the stability of the global oil market. Listen to the full version on the official dinarport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. MP Nur-Nafi al-Jalihawi confirmed, on Saturday, that Iraq represents an important factor in the stability of international markets in the oil and energy file. Al-Jalihawi said, in an interview followed by Mawazin News, that developing Iraq's oil and gas fields is an important strategy in order to strengthen the country's economy, diversify its revenues, and seek to raise the efficiency of its production capacity in a way that contributes to increasing exports. She added, the Prime Minister's launch of the 5th supplementary licensing round and the 6th round, which will include 29 projects in fields and exploratory patches, whether oil or gas, spread across 12 governorates, is a step in the right direction that will lead to achieving three positives at the same time: increasing its ability to pump oil and produce gas and reducing the bill importing the latter, in addition to revitalizing neighboring regions and providing more job opportunities, not to mention supporting the governorates and financing service projects. She stated that Iraq represents an important factor in stabilizing international markets in the energy file, and increasing its production capacity is a step in the right direction, especially gas fields, in order to reach the stage of sufficiency. 90 billion dinars were recovered from social protection violators. Yesterday, Saturday, the Social Protection Fund in the Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs counted the money recovered from transgressors since its establishment and during the current year 2024, while explaining the reason for the cessation of its projects. The Director General of the fund, Siham Abdul Wahab, said, 90 billion dinars have been recovered from the beginning of the fund's establishment in 2015 until now. While the funds recovered during the current year from the period January 1, 2024 to April 30, 2024 amounted to a limit of 5 billion dinars after the intersection of information and extracting the names of the transgressors. In numbers, the rise in internal debt in Iraq. Time, May 12, 2024. Read, 624 times, Economic, Al-Furat News. An economic expert revealed that the total internal debt in Iraq increased during the month of last April. Manar al-Abadi said in a statement, a copy of which was received by that the total internal debt last April rose to 76.9 trillion dinars, up from the previous month of March by 5%, as the total internal debt of Iraq was 73.2 trillion dinars. He pointed out that the total debt increased by 10.39% compared to April 2023, as the total internal debt at that time was 69.7 trillion dinars. Iraq is the largest producer. OPEC Plus is pumping higher than scheduled, and in anticipation of the June meeting. Energy Economy News _Baghdad OPEC Plus crude oil production decreased by 210,000 barrels per day on a monthly basis, to 41.04 million barrels per day last April. This came according to a survey conducted by S&P Global Commodity, as Russia began implementing a deeper production cut amid a series of Ukrainian drone attacks on its refineries. However, this decline is unlikely to be enough to calm tensions over compliance, with Russia failing to meet its target, and Iraq and Kazakhstan continuing to produce quantities well above their quotas, according to the survey. However, this decline is unlikely to be enough to calm tensions over compliance, with Russia failing to meet its target, and Iraq and Kazakhstan continuing to produce quantities well above their quotas. The two countries exceeded excess production by nearly 1 million barrels per day in early 2024, and committed to compensate for this between May and the end of December 2023, and these plans were adjusted depending on future production and OPEC Plus policy decisions based on the data. Iraq and Kazakhstan continue to produce beyond quotas, despite their pledge to compensate for their surplus production in early 2024. As for the June meeting, the production data for last April will be the talk available to OPEC Plus ministers when they meet to determine production levels, and analysts expect the group to extend the current quotas and voluntary cuts. Iraq produced above its quota last April, when production reached 4.24 million barrels per day, a decrease of only 4%. Compared to the previous month, which amounted to 4.28 million barrels per day. Thus, it produced above its quota by 240,000 barrels per day. the discovery of 10 new oil and gas fields in the Anbar Desert. Anbar Governor's Advisor for Energy Affairs, Aziz Khalaf Al-Tarmuz, announced today, Sunday, the discovery of 10 new oil and gas fields in the Anbar Desert in western Iraq. Follow the Al Maluma channel on Telegram. News that does not require documentation. Al-Tarmuz told Al Maluma, the oil exploration company affiliated with the Ministry of Oil conducted exploration operations in the desert of Al-Nukaib district towards the Irar border crossing with Saudi Arabia and the areas south of Tharthar, which resulted in the discovery of 10 new oil and gas fields that were not registered with the Ministry of Oil. He explained, these fields contain large quantities of petroleum derivatives, minerals, and phosphates, noting that expectations indicate that these areas float on lakes of oil. He denied that exploration operations for oil and gas fields have stopped for security reasons, indicating that search and exploration operations will continue, according to a plan drawn up by the concerned authorities. Oil: Iraq achieved self-sufficiency in liquid gas and began exporting the surplus. Energy Economy News _Baghdad. The Ministry of Oil announced today, Sunday, that Iraq's oil reserves have risen to more than 160 billion barrels, while indicating that 22 international companies are competing for gas field development projects, stressing that Iraq has achieved self-sufficiency in liquid gas and has begun exporting the surplus. The ministry's spokesman, Asim Jihad, said in an interview with the Iraqi news agency, followed by Al-Iqtisad News, that the fifth and sixth round of supplementary licenses come in line with the government program that aims to optimize the investment of oil and gas wealth. He added, the ministry aims to maximize national production, especially of hydrocarbon and gaseous compounds found in the ground, noting that the ministry aims to maximize national production, especially of hydrocarbon and gaseous compounds found in the ground. He pointed out, most of the exploration blocks nominated for competition are gas exploration blocks, and therefore this will support the energy sector in Iraq. Jihad confirmed, the Ministry of Oil has achieved important steps in optimal gas investment projects in Maysan Governorate at a rate of 300 cubic feet, and in the Kar, Nasiriyah and Al Gharaf Governorates, at a rate of 200 million standard cubic feet per day. He continued the contracts concluded by the ministry regarding the Nar and Omar field will provide 300 million standard cubic feet in 2 stages, while the contract with Total will provide 600 million standard cubic feet per day. He pointed out, the 5th licensing round will achieve more than 800 million standard cubic feet of gas. In addition to the efforts of the Basra Gas Company, where gas investment has reached 1,200 million standard cubic feet per day. He went on to say, it is hoped that 200 million standard cubic feet will be added this year, so in total Iraq aims to achieve self-sufficiency to support the energy sector and reach the stage of self-sufficiency. He stressed, Iraq has achieved self-sufficiency in liquid gas, and the surplus was exported outside the country, noting that this step is important in strengthening the Iraqi national economy. According to him, the government effort focused during the last period on intensifying exploratory operations, and therefore this will lead to maximizing the Iraqi oil reserve, adding, it is hoped that during the coming period it will be announced that the Iraqi oil reserve will increase to more than 160 billion barrels, which will enhance the role of Iraq in the global oil market. Regarding the activities of the 5th supplementary and 6th licensing round for the second day, Jihad explained, the activities of the second day included competition for 11 fields and exploration plots. And these patches and fields began with the Abu Qaima field in Al-Mutanawa Governorate, which was transferred to the Chinese company Zenoa. Jihad added, now there is competition for the Goat Patch in Anbar Governorate. Competition will also take place today for patch number 7 in Diwaniyah Governorate. Al-Dhafriyah field in Wasat Governorate, Sumar Patch in Al-Mutanawa Governorate, Tal Hajar in Nineveh Governorate, Al-Khana in Salah al-Din Governorate, and Anna in Anbar. Plot number 11 in Najaf al-Ashraf, Al-Anbar plot in Anbar Governorate, and Kalat Saleh field in Maysan. He expressed his hope that these projects will be referred to competing international companies in a way that will achieve a major transition in this context, and tomorrow the competition will be for another group of fields and exploratory patches. Yesterday, Saturday, Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani sponsored the ceremony to announce licenses for the 5th supplementary round and the entire 6th round. which includes a total of 29 projects for oil and gas exploratory fields and patches, distributed among 12 governorates. Listen to the full version on the official dinarport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Caps.